What you think, buddy? Hey? Hey? What you doing? Yeah, we're gonna make another video. Another video in the hot kitchen, right? What's going on? Alright, ignore me, I don't care. Years back, I got to meet what I was been told the most famous Chinese painter in the north of China. So that means like the north of the Yangtze River, or the Yellow River, as said in English. Really strange coincidence. I had a professor from a local university in the city that I'm in China. He called me up and he asked me if I wanted to help proofread a Chinese painter's book. It's just like kind of like a life story and a little bit of history and other things that he's accomplished over his time. So the guy is, his name is Zhang Xing. This is the book. This is the book that I was a proofread for him, and you can see in the first, okay, not the first. One of these papers. One of these pages here. All right, you can see me sitting with Mr. Zhang Xing, and Mr. Zhang Xing is the man in the middle, and the professor is over here. Now, the professor and Mr. Zhang Xing, they're best friends. They've known each other for a very, very long time, and I just know the professor because he's good friends with my wife. So yeah, so he called me up. And he asked me to just kind of go over this book as best as possible and just kind of proofread it, kind of spice it up with a little bit of more commonly used words in English, because it's a little bit difficult to fully translate the Chinese language, I should say the Chinese Mandarin language, into perfect English. A lot of words get mixed up, but kind of just did my best, and to just kind of show you how kind of famous this artist is. Back in 2010, he met Mr. Tony Blair. He gave Mr. Blair this painting. This painting is, obviously you can see, is like a little grapevine or whatever there, and he's very, very famously known for painting grapes. I got another little book here that I was given by Mr. Zhang Xing, which gives a lot more detail into his great pictures. They look amazing. I mean, I saw them firsthand. It's almost like you could grab the grapes off the painting and eat them. I mean, they look just absolutely perfect, like straight off the vine. You just washed them and all that kind of stuff. And so yeah, when Mr. Blair came to China, Tony Blair came to, he was prime minister at the time, back in 2007, and he was given this picture here, it's water painting, and Mr. Blair came back in 2010 to visit Mr. Zhang Xing. I'm not really too sure where he visited him, but this is like the painting was a national gift to Mr. Blair. It was a very, very important thing. And when Mr. Blair found out that Mr. Zhang Xing made the photo, Mr. Blair came back a few years later and decided to thank Mr. Zhang Xing in person. Another one, the photo's kind of bad. I tried to help him get a better photo than the one they have here, but standing up here is Bill Clinton, former President Bill Clinton. As you can see, William J. Clinton. Maybe you can't. Maybe I'll put it a little closer there. I don't know. A little closer there. But yeah, so Mr. Clinton arrived in China in 1998, and there was no gift prepared for Mr. Clinton at the time, so it was kind of a rush. So colleagues of Mr. Zhang Xing, friends maybe even of his, contacted him, and these are the two portraits that were given to Mr. Clinton, former President Bill Clinton, as another national gift. And you can even see, like, it's really hard to make out, but that's the I think that's the president of China at the time. I'm not sure of his name. Oh no, this is in Hong Kong, so that's probably not the president of China. But to furthermore say how famous he is. This picture right here represents Mr. Liu Haisu. Now, Mr. Liu Haisu is the most famous painting artist, or artist in general, north of the Yangtze River. And before he died, he told his wife, particularly, that Mr. Zhang Xing was going to be what's called his closed-door disciple, which means that this would be the last guy, Mr. Zhang Xing would be the last person that he teaches his way of painting, in a sense. So very, very big thing. You know, I can show you in a little bit. You know, Mr. Liu Haisu, his paintings are astronomically expensive and really, really nice looking. And throughout the book, I mean, it shows like a lot of the people that he's met over the time, and shows a lot of the paintings. So this is a Guinness Book of World Records photograph of an accomplishment back in 1994 that Mr. Zhang Xing acquired. He painted the longest ink and wash painting that was named Misty Rain in the South of the Yangtze River. And I think it was like, I don't know, it was like, oh yeah, it says right here, 73 meters long. So that's pretty big. And major accomplishment for him as well. So yeah, I mean, meeting Mr. Zhang Xing, I'm just gonna leave the book kind of like this, like that right there. That looks a little bit better. So, you know, critiquing his book, proofreading his book, it was quite a challenge, because I mean, you can see by the size of the book itself. I mean, this is a good 1.5 inches thick, and I found it a lot of fun. You know, I learned a lot about the history of Mr. Zhang Xing, and I got to, you know, kind of relive his memories and relive some of his other accomplishments. And so in critiquing the book, it was really, really cool. You know, we got it done. It took a long time, and you know, there was a whole lot of, you know, back and forth of naturally, you know, like, oh, are you sure this sounds good, or could this sound better? Do you think this is right? And you know, I'm not very versed in the let's say the artistic world, but you know, I gave it my best shot, and I thought it came out fairly good. You know, I mean, it's not going to be perfect. The more I read into his book, and the more it was translated by the university professor, the more I realized that if I were to change, you know, a lot of the wording that was put into the paintings and into the writings itself, I felt that it would kind of take away from the actual meaning of what the artist is trying to get across. So there are some things, you know, that I kind of left. I left as basic as possible, and I left special notes in there to say that, you know, like, you really shouldn't change the words so much to make it fit into the English language as best as possible. It's probably best to try and understand the Chinese language to try to really understand the true meaning of the painting, or what the artist is trying to say. Now, that got all said and done. I think it took about a year, maybe a little bit over a year, not very much, but it was really cool. And after we got it done, Mr. Zhang Xing, he invited us to his house, and I got to meet him, and I'm gonna throw some pictures up in the corners and all that. You know, I didn't really have a very good camera as I do now. You know, I just had some really cheap Sony digital camera. I think I still have it, but you know, it doesn't work anymore. I lost the charger. I lost the adapter to transfer photos on it. So that's pretty much out of the way. But you know, I got my GoPro now, and that thing does 1080p. So good on that. And you know, I found some really interesting facts about Mr. Zhang Xing, is that he actually created his own form of calligraphy. And I'm going to get you a little piece of viewing here as soon as I find out where it is. I went too far. Alright, so these are just some of the art here. Just some ones that he's done for other famous parts there. But as you can see, you know, the calligraphy is just like a fan. And that's what it's literally called. I think it's called Zhang Fan calligraphy or something like that. But you can see it gets big at the top, and then as it comes down, like a fan would be, smaller at the bottom. So yeah, and I thought that was really cool. You know, like the guy came up with his own technique of doing fan-shaped calligraphy, and you know, it was really cool to see all the art. I mean, in getting it done, he invited us to his city in Kunshan, which is close to Suzhou. It's a smaller city, but it's like pretty much right next to Suzhou. It's not very far away. But trying to find the page here. But his art, I mean, he's just got tons and tons of art. I think he has, like, at the moment, he has 3 museums in Kunshan, because that's where he's from, dedicated to him and strictly to him. And he has done something that not many Chinese people are able to do or have done before, is he's paid for the museums by himself. Like, he's paid out of pocket. So if that gives you an idea of how important this guy is, and how much his calligraphy and his artwork in general is worth, is quite considerable. I mean, I went to, when he invited me and the professor from the local university to his house. It was phenomenal. I've never been in a bigger house before. Like, he's got the entire top floor of an entire apartment building, and then he's got like his own little villa with 3 houses in it. One of the houses is for making smaller paintings and kind of like an office. Another house is just stuff that he's been given as gifts and collected over the times. Like, I'll show you a few pictures of that. And the last house is just strictly for his paintings. Like, whenever he's done his paintings, he has, it's like a 2-story house, and it's just filled with paintings, room after room after room for paintings. He's got so many paintings that he's done over his entire time that it's filled an entire house, like a considerably sized house too. I'm not talking like a small apartment building. But so yeah, so you can give a little of idea here. I don't know if this can be seen really easily, but the top person's name here is Liu Haisu, and he did landscapes and flower and bird and calligraphy. And then Zhang Xing, he did flower and calligraphy, right? And then Zhang Xing, which is the man that has written this book, he does oil painting, landscapes, flower, and calligraphy as well. And you can see each square foot back in 1997 of Liu Haisu's was 120,000 RMB per square foot. 2009, it went up about 80,000. So if we go down to Zhang Xing here, square foot for like oil paintings, landscapes, flower, and calligraphy, they go from 15,850 and 2, and then in 2009 they went 80,000 for the oil painting, 25 for the landscape, 20 for the flowers, and 3 for the calligraphy. And I believe that's when it does the calligraphy. I'm not sure if it's per calligraphy word, or it's an entire painting by itself. So while I was there in his house that he was doing his smaller paintings, he actually gave me some of his paintings as, I guess you could say, payment of helping him do his book. You know, I haven't opened these things since I got them years ago. I haven't even looked at them in the longest amount of time. But I'll give you a little bit of an idea here of his artwork. Oh, this one's big, this one's really big. Right, so that has to go like this. You can see these artworks are really, really big. I mean, my hand is pretty big, and this is like the size of my hand. I can palm a basketball. Really, really special. And he gave me, I think it was like 3 or 4 of these. So this is quite a considerable gift. You know, it was an entire pleasure of being able to do his artwork. And this is a real special one here, because this is the. What are you doing, cat? Another one then. This is the one actually he signed right in front of me. Yeah. Really, really crazy. So, oh yeah, I gotta be really, really careful with these things. So, some really expensive artwork that he gave me, and I was really, really happy to, you know, do it for him, and really surprised that he gave me so much of his artwork, and it's so special. Now, spending time with him was about, you know, he set us up in a really, really nice hotel, and we stayed there for like 4 days and 3 nights or something like that. And you know, he took us to all kinds of cool places like a tea house, and then he brought us to this very special like Chinese fairy tale. This massive gold statue of one of the Chinese fairy tale ladies that's in Kunshan, and it was really cool. It was really cool. So another thing to add to this, you know, these are some of the paintings that I would like to put in the basement. So if you guys want to vote, I mean, I could put these pictures, but I also have some other. I also have these other 5. Is it 5? Maybe 6. 6 other paintings that I've acquired just for the house itself. So I'm going to organize these here. I'm going to go largest to smallest here, and I'm not going to open them up right now. But I will open them up, depending on the votes I get in the comments section on the Epic House. Now, these are all different. I kind of put a little bit of a name on them, and I'm not going to share the name with you right away, but I will put these up if you know. Just put them up. Just tell my wife I'm going to put up. And including these things, I got to get these things framed to put them up, because I'm not going to put them up just like they are, because these are far too valuable just to put them up. I think these ones will go in a glass frame. These ones right here I could just hang up really easy. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then there's the few that I got in here that I'll get frames for another time. So let's put it like this. Let's go in the comments section. You go through 1 through 7. Highest vote wins, and we'll work it from there. I think we'll try and do 3, 1 through 7, and you'll go like 7 will be the largest, and 1 will be the smallest one. It's going to take a little bit of time because I still got to get a drill and drill bits and screws, and then I got to figure out where I'm going to place them. But, you know, saying where I'm going to place them, you know, I might even leave that to you guys as well. If you check out the Man Woman Cave video, I'll record the whole thing, and whoever gets the most votes, we'll do the top 3. Top 3 are going to go up, and from there, figure out where else we can put some things. You know, if they don't work, they don't work. I'll try to put them somewhere where they will fit better. But yeah. Anyways, that's it for me on this one. Just another experience, you know, I'd like to share with you. And this is one of the ideas that I have, putting a little bit more decor in the basement to make it feel a little bit more comfortable. And like a comment below, subscribe if you want to subscribe to see more of my videos, because I'm gonna be, I'm gonna have a lot of work ahead of me to get the construction decorations going in the basement. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Come on, get out of the bed, man. Come on. You're weird.